This is arguably one of the most important cars Citroen have made because apart from the 2CV, which has been their best-selling car of all time, the Citroen C3 comes second. And if they've sold over 3 million of these since 2002. And now it's back with a new model and it's electrified. And this version takes petrol. Let's take a look around in detail today and find out what is possibly one of Europe's cheapest cars to buy. Welcome to Nobby on Cars in Vienna. Okay, so we have a 3-cylinder petrol engine which suits this car absolutely perfectly. It's 10 centimeters taller than the outgoing C3, but the footprint is the same. So it should still be as agile to drive, nimble and fun essentially. And when you look at it, like, there's a lot more going on at the front than towards the back. It's quite a squished boot. We have drum brakes on the rear. Depending on trim and spec you go for, you'll get different colour tone on the roof. You can actually customise these little colours on the sides depending on how you want your car to look. There's the new Citroen logo on the back. Good bit of hard plastic on the lower part of the car. And then instead of a brake strip, which so many cars are getting these days, you have a black high gloss but LED lights across the back as well. So C3 boot or logo on the boot. Now this is a strange thing. That's how the rear wiper sits. Yeah, so it does go down here, but then you have the wiper on. But hey, look, at least it gets a wiper, because by today's standards that isn't always the case. Right, so boot, pretty much, you know, a B segment size boot. It is quite deep. The trade-off of that is you've got quite a significant lip going on here. But look, you can fit stuff into it, and that's kind of the main thing. And the way the hatch opens, you know, it just makes your life easy. If you are planning on doing some wardrobe shopping in your C3, little pulley here, that drops the seat down. Not quite flat. Does give you an idea of how much extra space you'd have if you did need to drop part of it. It's a 70-30 split, so that's handy because you might still have someone in that seat, or maybe that seat to get more space on this side. But look, it has practical options is my point. Then the back seat area in general, well, you're benefiting from that extra roof height, so there's plenty of that. The door shoulders do sit a little bit high. The headrests sit a bit low, but for seeing out the back from a driving perspective, you're probably okay with that. Now, this is both an internal combustion engine model and a BEV, but there is a bit of a hump in that floor. Now, as you can see, there's lots of space for your feet under there, so that's also a good thing. Citroen are famous for their comfortable seats, and I can attest that they are. And just in case your passengers in the back are a little bit taller, there's very, very strongly cut out backs on these seats. A little bit of a storage for a device here. You could probably stick a tablet at the top of it, actually, like a holder. But the white and the black looks really good, tones things up nicely. Yes, hard plastic in the back, good size door bins, and you'll feel happier driving the Citroen because it tells you to be happy. Nose is quite cute. I do like the new logo, actually. I mean, it feels like it hasn't evolved in 100 years. Probably hasn't, but it's almost like an egg shape now with the chevrons in the middle of it. Bit of grey, bit of silver, bit of black. Nice different colours going on, and obviously with the two-tone roof you've got white over the top, black mirror housing. Plenty of colours going on. More of those little customisable strips here for an air curtain that does actually go somewhere, and your daytime running lights combined with your normal headlights housed quite nicely. I love this idea. So this is, I suppose, essentially a head-up display, but it's built into the dash. No matter how tall you are, you should be able to get to grips with this. So the Citroen Peugeot cousins from Stellantis, they might be a little bit envious of this. Then you have more of your logo, you can't miss that. We've got plenty of air vents, nicely aimed at the driver and passenger. Further air vents down here. There is physical buttons for climate control, albeit, you know, that is a bit digital or whatever, but that works fine. 10.25 screen, hook up your CarPlay, your Android, whatever you want. Use the inbuilt options. Can't say it's particularly sluggish even. It's all good. Indicators, a little bit loud. The sat-nav sounds like a fella out of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. He does sound like he might kill you. That head-up display then quickly turns into I suppose a shelf, a floating shelf. We've got fairly recycled materials going on down here. USB-C at the side. There's another one underneath the back here, at the back of where the handbrake essentially goes and where your rear passengers would be. How lovely is it to have a manual gear shifter in 2024? A couple of drinks holder spots. Oh, branded Citroen. And a wireless charging pad down here. So you really are spoiled for choice. And that's before I even mention these amazingly comfortable Citroen seats. They're just so good. So good, and it works really well with the hydraulic combination of the suspension in this car, which is very, very soft and gentle and very Citroen-like. More huge door bins in here, more things to tell you how to feel. And yeah, overall it's a very pleasant little cabin. Everything's where you'd need it. Good quality materials to all the touch points that you'd be using generally, and plenty of headspace again inside the new C3. Okay, I must warn you that the sat-nav man sounds like something out of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Sounds like he would actually kill you. You'll hear him now in a second. Don't take my word for it.
First left, then turn right.
No probs. So 3-cylinder engine, 100 brake horsepower.
Left, then turn right.
Yeah, okay, alright. Very light steering, as you'd imagine for a car like this.
Take the first right.
I'm taking it. Relax, relax.
Take the first right.
Okay, alright. Nobody gets hurt. I know, I know the drill. It's not my first rodeo. It's such a pleasure having a manual gearbox, a light car, a car that doesn't need a 360 overview camera to park because you know where you're trying to stick it. And that's always beneficial. Seats are really comfortable. It's the first time they put this sort of suspension into a B-segment car, so it's actually really comfortable. Now, these roads are good, I will point that out, but anytime I've gone over bumps and lumps, and some of the smaller roads around Vineyards today were quite bumpy, and it just handled it really, really well. Don't know if it needs a 6-speed gearbox. I think it would live with 5 quite fine, thanks. I mean, just as you approach 80 kilometers an hour, it'll nudge you on the dash to say, you should probably use 6 now. And then when you do, you just feel like you're not quite enough up the revs to sustain that. You end up speeding up a bit to try and get that labour feeling be gone. The boot is a little bit small. Depending on how much rear legroom you need, that could potentially be a bit small for you. But you know what, I really like this. It's just a good, honest car. It's got enough toys to keep you happy. You know, it has got a small footprint, but it's all the better to drive for it. And if you don't need a huge car, then it does manage to squeeze quite a bit in. It doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't feel particularly noisy. I'm obviously looking forward to driving the BEV version of the car to really test that whole idea out. But yeah, it's very little to complain about. Fuel economy, I thought it might be a bit better, to be honest with you. I'm seeing sort of 6 litres per 100 kilometres, just ebbing into the high 5s.
In 300 metres, turn right.
I don't know if I didn't expect to see maybe much better than less than 5. It's not a hybrid, remember, it's a turbo. But I think sort of 7 is a little bit shocking. And sometimes petrol turbos can be quite thirsty. So that's something to bear in mind. It might be a reason to save fuel and save costs why you'd consider the electric version of the C3, of course.
Follow this road for 19 kilometres, then enter the roundabout, then take the 3rd exit.
Okay, just keep the staple gun away from me, thanks very much. If you're watching this video in a left-hand drive country, you'll have this car in showrooms for test drives from June. Deliveries after September, right-hand drive, so Ireland, the UK. And how are you, Cyprus and other places like that? It's going to take a little bit longer. Soz. driving over manholes now at 60 kilometers an hour, and it's very comfortable. It's absorbing everything as you'd expect a Citroen to do. Yeah, overtaking power might be a little bit strained as well. That said, I floored it there in 6th gear and it was doing okay. Let's try and overtake a tractor in 3rd gear. Here we go! It was kind of effortless, to be honest with you, and it didn't even really get that noisy in the cabin. And as I go back over the central broken white lines, there's no major thumps into the cabin. Which reaffirms my belief that I really like this little car. I'm not lying when I say this could be one of my favourite cars of 2024. It's got a great footprint, it's fun to drive, it's light. It's got some limitations with the boot and a little bit of legroom in the back, perhaps, but they've squeezed a lot into this car. And when you add on, hopefully, a relatively cheap price for Ireland, I mean, this is a car that the BEV version in Europe is going to be 25 grand. In the UK, I think it's about 23 sterling. So it's fun, it's quirky, it's not a huge SUV. Yes, it still has the SUV crossover design, but it packs an awful lot into a small punch. And if you don't need loads of space, maybe a second car, maybe your first car, this would be ideal for it. And the fact that there's a couple of different powertrain options kind of adds to the sense that they have a lot covered. So the idea with Citroen is this is mobility that should be accessible and still delivering a car that is quite roomy on the inside. And on that front, they've really delivered that. Just need to wait in the price now. And guesstimates down below in the comments, please. Let me know what you think of the latest gen of the Citroen C3. Maybe you've had a previous version. How did you get on with it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. It's time to go do some sunbathing.